If you want to create a custom date for entry form in about 10 seconds that lets you add, read, update and delete records, I've got something for you. I created a data form generator. With it, you can design your form and choose from different field types like drop-down menus, select boxes, radio buttons and even date pickers. And now with just one click of a button, the tool will generate the form for you. The only requirement is that you have Python installed on your machine, but don't worry. Towards the end of the video, I will also show you a way to convert your Python file into a standalone executable file. That means it will run on any machine even if Python isn't installed. Okay, so without further ado, let us jump right in and let me show you the solution I created for you. Alright, first things first, head over to my website. You can find the download link in the description box below. Once you're there, you will see two main sections. On the left, you have the form settings. This is where you can change things like the app title, the description, the Excel output file name, the worksheet name and the overall theme. But don't worry, you can also change all those things later in the code. Alright, then on the right side you will see the different fields. By default, there are a few examples like a text input field and also a drop-down menu. Now for the email inputs, there's actually a dedicated email field. So if you select that one, the tool will do some basic validation to make sure the address you entered is valid. Alright, and if you want to add more fields, just click this button here. For this example, let's say we want to insert a checkbox. Once you pick it, all you need to do is to give it a name. Alright, next up, let's add a date picker field. When you select that one, you will get some extra options like how you want to format the date in Excel later. Here you will also find some presets, but you can also type in your own custom format if you want. Alright, and with that, let's also add a number slider. So this one could be, for example, for the number of participants. And I'm gonna set it from 1 to 5. Alright, and now that we've added all our fields, you can actually still adjust their order. Just click on the card and then drag them where you want them. For example, I'm moving the date picker to the end. And you probably also notice there's an option to mark a field as required. To do that, just click the checkbox next to it. And if you want to remove a field, just click on this icon here. Alright, and once you're happy with your input, you can go ahead and generate the application. The tool will now generate all the code for you. And once it's done, you will get a notification and the files will be downloaded right to your computer. Now let's go check the files in my downloads folder. So here you will now find a new archive. And the first step is to extract the files. Okay, and with that done, let's take a look at the folder. Inside you will find the following files: the GUI file, a README and the requirements file. Let's start with the requirements. There are basically just two main requirements. The first one is free simple GUI for the GUI creation. And the second one is OpenPyXL to work with Excel files. And the last two packages listed here are kind of optional. You only need them if you want to convert your Python program into a standalone executable file, which I will also show you later in the video. Alright, so as a next step, let me go ahead and install the packages. Now, just to make sure we are all on the same page here and that you don't run into any issues, I highly recommend creating a virtual environment. You can do that by running the command python-m venv and then the name of your environment. In my case, I will call it myenv. Once that's done, you should see a new folder in your directory. Next, we need to activate our environment we just created. And you can do that by running the following command. Alright, and now we are using our virtual environment. So if I type pip list, you will see that we haven't installed any packages yet. So let me go ahead and install all the packages by running pip install -r requirements.txt. This might take some time, but once it's done, we are now ready to run our GUI application. So just like any normal Python file, type Python and then the name of the script, which will be our application name. Once you hit enter, two things will happen. First, you will see your entry form popping up. And second, a new data folder will be created, which includes a new spreadsheet. But before we check out the spreadsheet, let's take a look at the entry form. Here you can see the app title, the description, and all the fields we added, and a couple of buttons. So let me go ahead and fill out the form. So here I will input a name, the email, and below that there's also our dropdown, a checkbox, and also the number slider. Now for the date picker, there's a dedicated button. If you click on that one, a calendar will open up. So here I'm going to go ahead and select a date. Once I select it, it gets automatically formatted and filled into this field here. Okay, and now we can add the record by pressing this button. Okay, and here I'm actually getting an error and I did this on purpose. That's because the email address I entered has an incorrect format and the tool was smart enough to detect that. So let me go ahead and fix it and try to add the record again. Alright, and now we can see that the record has been successfully added. We can also double check that by clicking the Show Entries button. Now you can see your entry right here, and if you click on it, the fields will be populated again. This is super useful because now if you want to make any changes, you can do that. To show you that, let me adjust the email address right here. After my adjustment, I just need to hit the update record button. Alright, and now you can see that the email address has been updated. Next, let's add another entry to show the search function. Right now we only have 2 entries, but if you had more, you could use the search box to quickly find what you're looking for. So when I type PE and hit the search button, it shows one matching record because of the name Peter. Okay, so next let me clear the search results, hide the entries, and check out the Excel file that was created for us. You will find the spreadsheet inside the data folder. And if you open it, this is what it looks like. Here you can see that our field names are now used as headers, and below that you can see all the entries we added. And you will also notice that the date format is exactly how we specified it. And the checkbox value is represented either as true or false, depending on what you selected. Now if you want to delete a value, you can do that directly in the Excel sheet, but you can also do it right from the entry form. So just select the record you want to delete and hit the delete record button. And to make sure it's really gone, you can open up the Excel file again, and here you will now see that the entry was indeed deleted. Alright, and those are the main functions of the application. One more thing to mention maybe is that the window is actually resizable. So if you grab the corner, you can resize it to whatever size you like. Alright, and with that said, let us actually take a look at the code. Now the idea here is that all the settings you specified on the website are right here at the top of the script in the settings area. This means for you, if you want to make any changes, you can do it directly in the code without needing to create a new form. Now, of course, I also understand that this application might not cover all your use cases. But the good thing is all the code for the app is inside of one file. And right now the file has roughly 500 lines of code. So if you want to make adjustments, you can go through the code yourself, or you can just simply copy and paste the entire content into your favorite large language model like ChatGPT or Claude. And then you can ask for any adjustments you need. Alright, and if you actually want to understand how the whole application works, I recommend checking out another video on my channel. In that video, I explained the main concepts, which might be helpful if you plan to make adjustments to the code. Also, a quick note here, in that video I used 𝗗𝗘𝗦𝗖𝗥𝗜𝗣𝗧𝗜𝗢. Now, 𝗗𝗘𝗦𝗢𝗣𝗧𝗜𝗢𝗢 is going to be sunset soon, but luckily there's a fork of that library called 𝗲𝗘𝗦𝗢𝗢𝗡𝗖𝗏. So if you're wondering, it's basically the same thing, just as a continued version. Alright, and with that said, let me also show you the last file, which is Readme. In there you will find the installation instructions I just showed you, and at the bottom it even includes information about our fields. Alright, so currently to run our entry form you need to have Python installed on your machine. However, we can also easily convert our application into a standalone executable file. That means our application will work even on machines that don't have Python installed. And to do that, just type this command into your terminal. You just want to make sure that you are still running this command from your virtual environment we created earlier. Now when you hit enter, you should see the following window. Here you can select the Python file you want to convert, which is in our case our entry form. Next I'm going to select one file and a window-based option. Now there are also a couple of more options like adding an icon. So to show you that, I'm going to paste an icon into my folder here, and then I'm going to select it using the browse button. But like I said, this is totally optional. Alright, and with that in place, just hit the convert button. This might take a moment, but once it's done, you should see a new output folder. Inside that folder, you will find our entry form as a standalone executable file. So when you open the application, you will see the entry form again, along with the new data folder with our spreadsheet. So let me go ahead and test it one more time. I'm gonna fill out the fields here and add a record. Now to validate it, I will navigate to the data folder and open up the workbook. Alright, and here you can see our new entry. And of course, I think I haven't mentioned it, but you can also change your data directly in the sheet. That means also if you have some existing data, you can just paste it right here into the sheet. You just want to make sure to save the Excel file and close it before reopening up the application. So now when I check the entries, you can see the updated values right here. Alright guys, and that is basically the tool I created for you. Now if you go back to my website, you can also see some other field types that I haven't shown you yet, like a number-only input, a multi-line text box, an option menu, and even radio buttons. So feel free to give those also a try. Okay guys, I hope you find this tool useful, and as always, thanks for watching and I will see you in the next video.